Welcome to Art Slice, a different dive into art and art history. We goof around, we curse, you'll learn from it, but don't expect a typical lecture. You're welcome.
Also, subscribe.
It's up there. Is it up there?
Subscribe.
Just subscribe. Do it.
And click the bell.
Thanks. Enter newly appointed Spanish King Carlos III, who wasn't just another white guy in a white wig and heels. Okay, he was worldly. He was hip. He was cool. He was enlightened.
Yeah.
So listeners, remember when we said that Spain was seen as a country of just a bunch of backwards Eurobillies by many of those Enlightenment thinkers, right?
Yeah.
And this was possibly due to their lack of industry, their proximity to Africa, and the prevalence of the Spanish Inquisition. The times are a-changing, and King Carlos III was about to lead Spain into a new era. And it just
like the basketball brand.
What do you mean?
New era.
That's a basketball brand?
It's like some sort of sports brand. I don't know. Go on.
Sure. You know, I could see.
Now I'm like worried that's not a thing and I'm just making it up. I'm pretty sure like somewhere in the recesses of my mind, New Era exists. So I think it does exist. I'm going to look it up. Go for it.
I feel like I can envision that embroidered logo. Yeah.
Logo.
Embroidered logo.
It's real. It's a basketball cap company.
Yeah. I feel like I can
baseball
picture
cap. I said basketball cap.
The sports cap.
Yeah. They don't wear basketball cap. They don't wear caps in basketball.
Right. That would make sense. So, King Carlos III was part of one of the most powerful dynasties in Europe, Les Bourbons, the Bourbons, who actually helped fund the American Revolution, but not just to advance the Enlightenment, but also to stick it to the Brits.
Yeah. Stick it to them in their beans and sausage breakfast. What the fuck? Beans and wieners for breakfast? I don't think so.
I always thought you were going to say beans and wiener breakfast breath.
That too. And tea for breakfast? What the fuck?
I like the scones situation, though.
Scones are fine.
Scones
is okay.
Scones is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So basically, King Carlos III got promoted from being the King of Naples originally, yes, southern Italy, to the King of Spain. Okay, so you know how like corporate companies will shift managers around from like branch to branch because someone gets promoted, they quit or they get fired, that kind of thing, basically. So like the previous Spanish king, actually, he died in his 30s due to various ailments attributed to royal inbreeding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the process.
Yes. Yes. Okay, you can't even say it.
Like during the process of inbreeding or just like from being inbred? Like he was a product of inbreeding or he was producing inbreeding?
He was a product of inbreeding.
Okay.
Yes. So anyway, kingdom to kingdom, bourbon to bourbon brand.
Yeah.
Same. So back to King Carlos III being enlightened. He hired those who were down for enlightened change across the board, right? So agricultural, economic, industrial.
Okay.
This meant taking away power from RC² and its Spanish Inquisition, which only made his reign stronger.
So he was taking the power away because he did not believe in it, but he also wanted the sort of strength of the RC².
Right.
Okay.
All right. So good old toxic persecution is now only the weapon of the monarchies.
Gotcha.
Right? So he also transferred his entire Italian entourage, right? Because he came from Naples.
From Naples.
From Maples or Naples?
Naples.
So he brought on over his chief minister. He brought over opera singers, pizza chefs probably, and probably some dukes.
Yeah, his little homies, Palermo's. The off-brand of the little homies.
No!
The Italian off-brand of little homies, the Palermo's.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes, basically.
Yeah. I remember those.
Easy to travel with.
Yeah, it's the same skin tone, so it's cool.
Oh my God. Oh, that's true. Oh my gosh, yes, definitely.
They trade in the long shorts and high socks for, a little apron, an Italian apron. Yeah. And a pizza, what are those things that get the pizzas out of the oven?
I don't know.
I don't know. They're pizza sized. Whatever.
Some gold jewelry, some pinky rings.
Yeah.
Okay.
some hookers yelling at him. Some angry hooker. That's what I saw when I was in Naples. It was a dead rat and angry hookers. That's all I saw in Naples.
Any of that.
Okay.
I believe you.
No, you were there with me. I stepped over a giant dead rat, looked up, and this man was being yelled at by 2 Italian hookers.
I don't
sex
remember
workers.
any of that. I don't remember any of that. I believe it happened.
Well,
I think
look, hey, that guy. I'm not yelling at them. Look. He probably didn't pay.
oh my God.
I hope they beat the shit out of him. That's all I'm going to say. And they could have. They looked feisty.
I hope whoever needed comeuppance got their comeuppance. All right, I'll just leave
whoever
it at that.
needed the comeuppance, I hope they got their comeuppance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just like a Kermit the Frog, like wailing around, slapping everything in its direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm still not sure if it's comeuppance or comeuppets. I'm not sure. I think there's Muppets in there.
It's neither one of those.
Okay.
But we'll go with comeuppance. Anyway, so now the enlightened French, right, in France, right, the French in France, they were really digging this king's entourage, right, his whole élu.
Yeah, they were collecting his little homie Palermo's. I'm on their dashboard.
Gotta collect them all.
Yeah, they're looking around for quarters
for
the machine.
Basically. So they're really into this Bourbon king, right, because he's part of their brand situation, right? Also, though, Spain has mucho más nicer weather, okay, like Southern California. Yep. So then 6 years later, after his promotion in 1765, there was a mass immigration of French folks from all walks of life, right? Entrepreneurs, diplomats, craftsmen, hairdressers, merchants, and influencers. They're all just thrusting their Frenchness upon an unsuspecting Spanish population.
Yeah. The lay I don't know how to say homies in
Les homies.
Yeah.
You just don't say the H.
Les homies.
Les homies. I don't know. Oh, would there be one with the baguette?
I have baguette. I have croissant.
One of us is going to have a striped shirt. We get a mime. We have a mime.
You do have the mime. You definitely have the mime. Yeah. You have like a dirty cat who's better than everybody.
You have a starving artist.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You got. I mean, they all are basically.
Can one of them be an Eiffel Tower? Just one of them is an Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
With hands.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. So they're going to start their own Lomies.
One's
line.
a cigarette, I think.
That's just the line.
Sorry.
Okay. No, I love it. Okay. All right. So all of those immigrants that I just mentioned, they all probably came with Enlightenment literature smuggled underneath those dusty French wigs because they were wearing wigs at this time. They made it fancy. They made it trendy.
Yeah.
Okay. They brought that literature over for the backwards ass Spaniards who cared about being afrancesados, right? Okay. Which actually meant Frenchified Spaniards, right? Okay. So if you were a Spanish person who was afrancesado, you were doing the French thing.
So this was a word that was used.
Oh, it's a word. Okay. I didn't make it up.
Okay.
I wish I could take credit for that one.
All right.
No. Despite this idea of turning Spain into a Mediterranean Paris, King Carlos III's Enlightenment reform and or France's influence didn't do anything to benefit the majority of the population, which were not bigwigs, right?
They had bigwigs on, though.
Maybe, but they were mostly peasants and farmers. Okay. So you can't be tilling the fields with a wig. That's just not practical.
I mean, it soaks up some sweat, I think. Unless it's like a rayon, sort of rayon.
A rayon plant. Yeah. It's just not... It's not giving I'm working hard. It's not giving efficiency, right?
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so back to the peasants and farmers, right? So their income went to pay debts to their landlord.
Like you do.
Like we still do, yes. Yeah. So life for them was still giving medieval Dark Ages, right?
Yeah. Or 2023.
So on top of all of this, the influx of French immigrants were crowding already crowded cities like Madrid. So if you recall back to our El Greco episode, Madrid was the recently established capital court city. So this was only about 200 years before Goya. So Madrid was still developing, okay? And there wasn't a lot of separation, like physical separation between social classes.
Yeah, I mean, well, the gated communities were still developing, I assume.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. This mixing of the classes meant that all of them, high and low, were inevitably going to mingle when they were out and about. It's kind of like going to the mall and seeing the bougie kids at your school eating Chipotle at the food court. Everyone's just eyeballing each other, right? They probably couldn't help themselves.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right? You see this? You see it in your mind? The lower classes could literally see firsthand how hard the upper classes were simping for the French.
Yeah, the Fressafadato. How do you say it? Frenchafados?
Afrancesados.
Papasados, Arepasados.
Arepasados, exactly. And the working class Spaniards saw this and were like, that's fucking lame.
Yeah.
Okay, we are not French. We're not French. We're going to do our own thing. So, in rejection of the French, majismo was born, which, if that sounds like machismo to you...
To eres correctamundo.
Yes, kind of. The root of the word means to be aggressive, right? Both the men, majos, and majas were ladies. Both of them. They grew loud and feisty.
Okay.
So this was a new style, right? It was their own. It was basically street style. Specifically, the majos were working class folks.
Okay.
The men were artisans and the women sold fruit and flowers, for example.
Well, this just goes back to my little homies, mahomies theory, right? So these are the mahomies.
Yeah.
Right.
We got another one.
So the little homies, mahomies, the mahomies made appearances on those royal tapestries, those Goya cartoons, you know? And Goya was probably like collecting them in his windowsill, okay? Buenas noches, little Pelele.
One.
You had to pin him to the wall so he's in the air.
Okay, that is adorable. All right, so back to the majos. So while they could actually afford to take a day off, they still lived a hard life, right? They were still at the bottom of the social ladder.
But they looked good.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. But this autonomy allowed them to spend some of that disposable income on some fly looks.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So we're going to talk about their looks.
This guy has like a Rue 21 bucket hat situation.
No. Yeah. No, this is not a bucket hat.
This is the Rue 21 to the era Stapapaplos.
No.
This is where Pelele could afford to shop.
No.
It's a knockoff. Fast fashion.
Okay. All right. So men wore a long cloak, right? Flung over the shoulder. Like they wore soft brimmed hats. Okay. They were kind of like a square beret situation.
Like a bucket hat.
And they were pulled so far down that you could hardly see their face.
Like a bucket hat.
Maybe. Now, women, the majas, wore light and airy materials. They wore a tight bodice. They also wore a basquina, which is basically a top petticoat. And they wore that over a skirt. And sometimes that skirt was as short as mid-calf. Oh no. Showing the ankles. Uh-oh. Okay. So if these looks sound intimidating, they were supposed to be. They were supposed to be a big finger to the big wigs.
Or a tall sock. A tall sock and a short pants / long shorts to the big wigs.
Oh, the look, yeah.
I'm looking at this guy in his bucket hat and his tall socks and his long shorts. He looks like a little homie. I'm just going to say it.
You know what? Maybe
he could be a little homie.
Maybe there's something to that.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, so many of the Frenchified nobles took offense to this because they were supposed to be the best, right? They were supposed to be la crème de la crème, right? Literally,
they're smearing cream on their wigs.
That is actually a French term meaning the best of the best, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So now you have some low-wage ass worker rejecting your fine tastes. Keke. How dare they? How dare they? So this is now a class war, but they made it fashion. For now. However, there were also many nobles that were like, that's kind of a cute look that those pores have put together. It's original and it's edgy. So they began appropriating the majo style, right? Much like fashion designers will appropriate street style today. It was trendy. But there was also an added freedom for a noble to dress in the majo style.
Okay.
So they could easily hide their social standing when they were out and about because they don't want the paparazzi shots. They don't want to be wrecked. They don't want to do any of that. But most importantly, they wanted to shed their French friedness and show their Spanish Eurobilly pride.
Show off that Spanish Eurobilly pride.
Exactly.
Sipping on some moonshine that's really a sangria. It was made in a bathtub. Okay. So it kind of signaled an embrace of this backwards, right? The more romantic.
Yep.
All while these Enlightenment ideas continued to saturate in other circles. So romanticism is a little BB, a little Spanish BB, okay? And this was the pendulum swinging the other way.
Okay.
Like, we can't all be these Spocks reasoning our way through every decision, because we're humans. We're meant to feel things. We're meant to show our humanness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the passion, the emotion, basically like the flight, fight, fuck response that's left over in our lizard brains.
And this Eurobilly fashion is what evolves into the stereotypes that we think of today when we think of Spain, right?
Okay.
Flamenco dancers, matador, bullfighters, your Latina grandma wearing veils to Catholic mass,